Hey ladies, let's jump right into the second half of this presentation on the Eclipse Winter Woman of Style. If you happen to be coming across the second half of this video for the very first time, I highly advise and encourage you to check out the first half of this video to give you a little bit more context into what I have discovered in terms of this new subgroup, the Eclipse Winter Woman of Style. If you are a deep winter woman of style, you believe that you fall within the deep winter color season, but the colors of the deep winter color season haven't been hitting the mark the way that you would like it to when you put on the colors from the deep winter color season, it may be because you are an Eclipse Winter Woman of Style. So if you haven't watched the first half of this video, please do go back and watch it, and I will link to it below in the video description. So I wanted to create a visual board to present to those ladies who are deep winters, but you have realized through my presentation here that you may be in fact an Eclipse Winter Woman of Style. I wanted to create an energy, an aesthetic, a mood, a vibe. You are infused with a hint of clarity to the depth and coolness of your visual presentation, which means you can't quite wear all of the range of colors that are available within the clear winter color season. Those are some of the most intense, pure, crisp colors of the winter spectrum of colors. So you may find that some of the colors from the clear winter color palette will still overpower you because you still need that depth to your overall coloring. However, there are a subset or a subgroup of specialized curated colors that I create for my clients and that I have also created for myself as well. And I will show you a sample chart that are equally balanced between being a deep, clear, and cool color season, in which I will be creating signature colors for those clients who invest in my virtual color analysis and who happen to be an Eclipse Winter Woman of Style. But this specific mood board, I feel, just really captures the overall essence of what it means to be an Eclipse Winter Woman of Style. The decadent, clear, crisp, jeweled colors of this new winter subgroup within the spectrum of winter colors is ideal for an Eclipse Winter Woman of Style. So let's now get into some popular celebrity examples which have created heated debates online within the color analysis community, whether or not they are in fact a bright winter, a deep winter, or if they just don't fall into any of those categories. Let's get into it. So let's start with Lupita Nyong'o because she seems to be quite a color chameleon, as I like to say. And there has been quite a debate online around Lupita's official signature color season and color palette. And I know I myself, when I started on YouTube within this niche of the color industry, I received quite a bit of pushback from color netizens, as I like to say, who are adamant that Lupita Nyong'o is in fact a bright winter. I've also heard that she is a bright spring, and I want to put this topic to rest, at least for me, in terms of nailing down what I believe Lupita Nyong'o's official signature color season actually is. And yes, ladies, I do believe that Lupita is in fact an Eclipse Winter Woman of Style. Now, if you have not checked out my Flow Color Season 4, the lovely Lupita Nyong'o, I will link to that video below, and I highly suggest that you check it out to get a more robust context of what this debate has been all about. So what I will say, given my research over the past couple of years, and more recently as I have been studying, researching this new subgroup for the community of women here and fine-tuning what it actually means to be an Eclipse Winter Woman of Style versus a Deep Winter Woman of Style, I can confidently say for the community here of Renaissance women that Lupita Nyong'o is in fact an Eclipse Winter Woman of Style. Now, here's the reason. Traditionally, Deep Winter women, as you have seen in the first half of the video, although I don't have the depth of color that Lupita has, are deep. She has deep hair. She has beautiful, crisp, intense, deep black-brown eyes, such as myself. And she has cool, beautiful, dark ebony melanated skin, which signifies for me that she is in fact a classic Deep Winter Woman of Style. Now, where the clarity comes in terms of the colors that she can wear is her skin tone. Although she is a beautiful deep mahogany woman, she has a clarity to her overall skin coloring. If you were to put Lupita in Deep Winter's red, which she can wear quite beautifully, because remember, her home signature dominant color season is that of being a deep winter, but you also put her in Eclipse's winter red or Eclipse's winter yellow, you can see the vibrancy of her overall appearance come to life. It's like turning on a switch. Or let's just say if you have a lamp on in your room at night and the room's like dimly lit, but you decide to turn on the main light in your room, it's like a switch going on. An Eclipse Winter Woman of Style has a specialized, curated subgroup of beautiful, jeweled, cool, crisp, deep colors that she can effortlessly get away with. However, if she was to attempt to wear all of the range of colors within the clear or bright winter color season, it would immediately overpower her, as you can see in the far right picture with Lupita wearing Clear Winter's electrifying cobalt blue. It's a beautiful color, but it's a little too overpowering on her. This is what is so unique about color subgroups within an overarching color season. There are specialized colors that if you are trained to pick out within the spectrum of colors that are available, for example, within the winter color season, will come to life on you. It's like night and day when you put the Deep Winter versus the Eclipse Winter colors on a classic Deep Winter Woman of Style. Furthermore, the ongoing debate around Lupita being able to wear the brightest, clearest colors from the winter color season, you have to remember that Lupita, as I stated before, she's a bit of a color chameleon. She knows that if she pushes the boundaries just a bit and borrows a few colors from the bright winter, that she can get away with it because she has the clarity. But are those colors in harmony with every visual cue that I spoke about in the beginning of this series? I can't remember which video it is that I mentioned that just because you see her wearing bright colors from the clear winter color palette or from the clear spring color palette doesn't necessarily mean that that's her home signature color season. For me, when I'm doing a color analysis, whether virtual or in person, I'm looking at the entire picture of that color being on you. And there are certain colors on darker mahogany women that are just too overpowering. So you have to find a balance between the clear colors Eclipse Winter women can get away with and when you are just pushing the boundaries too much. Now, is she a clear spring? Absolutely not. And I will stand on that with my final assessment. Lupita Nyong'o is not a clear spring. She's not a bright spring. And she is not a clear winter proper. She is an Eclipse Winter woman of style who can get away with a curated color palette that evenly distributes both the clear and deep colors beautifully to match the harmony of her hair, her beautiful intense eyes, and her overall natural coloring. That is why, in my opinion, I feel that there has been this ongoing debate with Lupita. She is an Eclipse Winter woman of style. Again, she can wear the clear, deep colors, but she cannot fully cross over into a clear winter color season. Otherwise, they will overpower her. So as I have it stated here, how does an Eclipse Winter differ from a classic deep winter woman of style? Firstly is you have a higher clarity threshold. And as you have probably observed in the first half of that video, I have a high contrast with clarity. Much like that of Lupita Nyong'o, she has a higher clarity threshold as well, but she is much deeper in her overall coloring. Also, traditional deep winters thrive in rich, dark, and slightly muted, cool colors. Now, this is not to say that an Eclipse Winter woman of style can borrow a range of colors from the deep winter. You can, but those colors need to be evenly distributed with an element of clarity to them. Next, Eclipse Winters can handle colors with more clarity and brightness, which approaches the intensity of being a clear or bright winter, but there is a fine line in terms of how many colors you can borrow or blend from the clear winter and the deep winter. So I hope that clarifies some of the ongoing debate within the RWS community. I can't speak outside of this community. I know that I'm probably even going to get more pushback due to my presentation here, but I stand by every word that I have mentioned within this presentation. So lastly, I want you guys to also check out my Clear Winters Hidden NYE Glam Secrets Exposed video, and I will link to that below in the description as well, where I first discussed this color phenomena of being able to move on the spectrum of colors from one end of the spectrum of being a winter to a subgroup of colors within the winter color season. And that video was uploaded on December 31st, 2024. So this is when I started to tease the idea of being able to move on the spectrum of colors within a overarching color season. So if you haven't checked out that particular video, please do go back and check that out as well. So let's get into some other examples of other celebrities who happen to be an Eclipse Winter woman of style. Okay, so here we have the lovely, talented, gorgeous Bianca Lawson. I love Bianca. She showed up on my radar when she was in the very popular TV show Vampire Diaries. And then she was in the other show, Queen Sugar, if I'm not mistaken. And I didn't even know until recently that she's actually Beyonce's half-sister. That was news to me. So Bianca is also a Eclipse Winter woman of style. She is more in alignment with my physical cues when I was going through my process of elimination and determining which winter looked better on me. We share the same dark natural hair and cool brown coloring. She's a slightly more fairer than me, but she still has that depth and infusion of clarity to her overall presentation. So as you can see, she looks exceptionally beautiful in Eclipse Winter's version of jeweled indigo blue. It's not as clear and vibrant and electrifying as Clear Winter's blue, but Eclipse indigo blue looks quite beautiful on the lovely Bianca Lawson. She also wears Eclipse Winter's poppy red quite beautifully as well. And a little secret for you, if you ever doubt whether you are a deep, a clear, or any color season, I want you to do a color check. So basically a color check is just basically taking various women of different ethnicities, different intensities in their color tones, and putting them in a group of the same colors. And if those colors all check out and they harmonize with each of the women from different ethnicities, skin tones, and intensities of skin tones, you have discovered that you are in fact that specific color season. And I will show you a demonstration of that towards the end of this video. But as you can see to the far right, Bianca Lawson is also experimenting with Clear Winter's Arctic Electrifying pink. Now this pink is a very clear, pure, cool, icy pink. I would say if you are an authentic Clear Winter woman of style and you can borrow quite a few extended colors from the Clear Spring, this color of pink would look amazing on you. However, as I just stated in the section with Lupita Nyong'o, Bianca Lawson is overpowered by this version of Clear Winter's pink because it's too clear, it's too pure against her rich, deep intensity. Remember, if you are an Eclipse Winter woman of style, you still need a hint of depth and a hint of clarity to the colors that you wear. That's why I have been stating throughout this presentation that the depth and clarity has to be evenly distributed within your color chart. So I also have stated here that Eclipse Winters usually have strong natural contrast, like very dark hair paired with strikingly bright eyes or porcelain skin. If you happen to be a woman of the Caucasian ethnicity, you will find that you too can wear quite a few beautiful range of Eclipse Winter colors as well. And your features can handle a touch more vibrancy without looking overpowered. So again, that just harkens back to my previous example where I was talking about the pure clear color of Winter's clear pink on Bianca Lawson. It's just a little too overpowering on her. She needs to just tone that version of pink down and add a little bit more depth to it. And then I also have stated Eclipse Winter is a deep winter with enhanced clarity, meaning you can wear colors that are slightly clearer and more defined than a traditional deep winter palette without fully crossing into Clear Winter territory. So I hope you're starting to get a better understanding of what it means to be an Eclipse Winter woman of style. So let's move to our next example. Okay, final example, I promise, and then we will get into my chart. So remember just a few minutes ago, I spoke about the color check. I'm actually going to call it the color harmony check. I like that term a little bit better. So when you're doing your color harmony check, and let's just say, for example, that you have discovered that you are in fact a Eclipse Winter woman of style, and you want to ensure that the colors you are choosing from are going to harmonize with your natural coloring, you can take some time to find other celebrity examples online that match your visual cues that I walked you through in the first part of this presentation. So your hair color, your eye color, try to find a universal color that each of those examples have worn and all harmonize with. So in this example, I have chosen Eclipse Winter Indigo. And as you can see, this is a proven test that this particular subgroup does exist within the winter color season, more specifically on the range or the spectrum of the deep winter colors. You have Bianca Lawson, you have Lupita Nyong'o, you have Jordan Sparks, and you have the lovely Jodie Turner-Smith. They are all Eclipse Winter Women of Style, but notice the difference. They don't all share the same intensity in terms of their skin coloring. Jodie Turner-Smith has more depth to her coloring. Lupita Nyong'o also has more depth to her Eclipse Winter coloring. However, Jordan Sparks and Bianca Lawson, such as myself that you will see in a moment, are a little bit fairer in their skin coloring, but the intensity, the contrast is exactly the same, high contrast. So that is how I know when I was doing my research and going through the color charts and finding colors within the spectrum of the deep winter color palette that are slightly more clear but universal for women that don't necessarily look like me but share the same visual cues of a deep winter who is actually now an Eclipse Winter Woman of Style. And this is what the color harmony check is all about. So if you're ever in doubt and you think that you have found your signature color season, do a color harmony check. Find other celebrities online, find a standard universal color, put yourself in that same color. And if you harmonize with the colors just as much as those other examples do, you most likely fall within that range of the color seasons and color palettes. So that's just a little trick for you. But as I have written here, color adjustments, as I just stated, you can wear slightly cleaner jewel tones, sharper blues and pinks that might be too intense for a saturated deep winter. So what you will want to avoid are colors that are too muted or overly earthy. And as I have been mentioning, you can also dip into select bright winter shades, but you stop short of neon or icy tones, which is moving into the territory of being a full-on, authentic, clear winter woman of style. So with that said, let's finally get to my color charts. All right, ladies, so here is my signature dominant color palette, the Eclipse Winter Woman of Style. Now, do not come for me in the comments. Yes, I'm very aware of the fact that the colors are labeled as deep winters, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a backstory on that. So when I was revamping my color chart at the beginning of the new year, I was instinctively choosing colors, yes, from the deep winter color palette, but when I finished my chart, I stepped back and I was like, something is off here. Why do these colors look a little bit clearer than the actual traditional deep winter color palette that we are all familiar with? And that is when I started to go down the rabbit's hole in researching and investigating the spectrum of colors that are available within the deep winter in general, and then being more specific, the deep winter color palette. So another trick or secret that I will share with you is that you will instinctively know what color season you are and what color palette is most in harmony with you. You may not be able at first glance to identify it and articulate it with precision, but you will instinctively know when you put that specific color on or range of colors that that's my signature color palette. And that's what happened to me when I was choosing the colors from my signature dominant season of what I thought to be the deep winter woman of style. but the colors were much clearer in its visual presentation. And that is what got my investigative juices flowing in terms of, okay, what's going on here? Because these colors do look a bit clearer, but there's still some depth. So this is a preview of my dominant color chart. I am, in fact, an Eclipse Winter woman of style. Many of the colors here definitely fall within the Eclipse Winter color palette. So this is a specialized curated color palette that I've created for myself and in which I will be creating for my clients who fall within these new subgroups that I will be talking about beyond the Eclipse Winter Woman of Style. So stick around for that. And what I absolutely love about my signature color palette is that the colors still have depth, but there's also a hint of clarity to them. Now, please do not think that you're going to take a snapshot or a screenshot of this color palette if you happen to be a deep winter woman of style and you also have displayed the same visual cues as me and you realize that, oh my gosh, I'm an Eclipse Winter woman of style too. These specific colors on my chart are in harmony with my natural coloring. So let's say, for example, you were to take my photo and Jordan Sparks' photo or Bianca Lawson's photo and did the same process of elimination in terms of determining what colors and what color season would look best on us. Yes, we all would fall into the Eclipse Winter color season, but the intensity and clarity of the colors that would be chosen for each of us would be slightly different, at least not when you're working with me. When I'm working with my virtual and in-person clients, I take you through a detailed process of elimination where I am going through all of the range of colors within the Deep Winter color palette, and then I am tweaking each of those colors to your level of clarity. So this is why it's so important that if you are a woman who is interested in getting your colors done and you are doing it yourself, kudos to you. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but it's always best to have a second pair of eyes on your color chart and when creating your colors, because there are so many nuanced elements to look out for that you may not be able to observe because you're doing it yourself. You're not doing it from an objective visual standpoint. You're doing it from a more personal standpoint. So you're more connected to the outcome. If you are wanting to take it a step forward and you are serious about nailing down your signature color palette and color season, that you consider investing in a virtual or in-person consultation. So let's now get into my flow color chart. And ladies, I have another surprise for you. Just like how we have shifted from the deep winter to the eclipse winter, and just as how the deep winter flows into the traditional deep autumn color season. If you haven't watched my flow color videos, please do check that out as well. Guess what? The Eclipse Winter Woman of Style, she can still flow into the deep autumn because there is still depth to the colors that she can wear. But can she wear the traditional deep autumn colors still? Remember, originally, the Deep Winter Woman of Style could flow into the Deep Autumn color palette. But because there is this new subgroup of the Eclipse Winter Woman of Style, yes, she can still flow into the deep colors of autumn, but there's another twist. Let's find out in the next section of this video.